Okay guys, today we're going around Melbourne and I'll be shooting some Neopan 400, which is basically the 400 speed version of Acros, which they don't make anymore. I think this was expired 2014. But yeah, we're just gonna go around Melbourne. We're gonna go to Luna Park later as well, and we're just gonna get some stuff, so yeah, let's go.
Okay, so here we are in Melbourne, and we had some fantastic donuts that we had to wait in a long line for, which were great, so definitely go check them out.
Oh, I hate my bus. What do I do?
Donuts!
Oh yeah, oh they like call us down. How was it?
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, so we've shot Neopan 400 before in Kyoto, so you can go back and check out that video, especially if you want footage and photos with a cleaner lens. Because the lens I had in Melbourne had some lens separation which caused a bit of haze, so in the highlights it does get a bit hazy, but when you're front lit it does look rather sharp. So Neopan is a film that unfortunately isn't around anymore. It got discontinued a while ago, though you can still get some rolls that expired in 2014 at the latest, so if you can find any of those, they're still pretty good, and you can still shoot them at box speed, which is great. Now for me, Neopan 400 kind of has a good quality that kind of finds its way between HP5 and Tri-X. It kind of has that mid-tones in the grain of HP5, but with the contrast of Tri-X, and it's kind of this weirdly good marriage between them. Of course, Tri-X is still my main. HP5 I just haven't loved completely yet. Like, I've definitely gotten good shots with it, but I haven't fallen in love with it. While Neopan 400, in the right light, it's quite beautiful. And also it's a good versatile film as well. And it would be nice if Acros did have a 400 speed black and white film around still. So maybe, who knows, we brought Acros back, maybe we can bring back Neopan 400. Let's get on the internet and annoy Fujifilm about it. So like here, even though it does have that lens separation, it's still a pretty solid image. Here's where the haze looks really bad, and that's because we have the sunlight just coming out the wrong way, and that's because you have the sun pointing towards the lens rather than away from it. That's where the haze becomes most prominent with this lens, but I've got a sharp lens now that has no haze, so in the future we will have much better photos with this camera. But it still looks nice and almost gives it a kind of vintagey feel, which I know a lot of film shooters are going for anyway, so you can still get good stuff from it. This week, specifically in Melbourne, I was really practicing zone focusing with my rangefinder, and so yeah, there's a lot of shots that aren't exactly sharp, and because it was rather cloudy that week, I did have to go on lower shutter speeds a lot of the time, and because of that there is a bit of motion blur and shake from the camera. So these are things that I obviously learnt from, and things that were just beyond my control because I wanted good exposure. But to compensate for that, I kind of did have worse shutter speeds and faster f-stops, which means things weren't going to look in focus as much. It would have been nice if it was a sunny day, but unfortunately it wasn't here. I just didn't really compose right because you can see the people in focus in the background, but I kind of cut off their heads, so that was me just kind of getting used to the rangefinder patch. It's possible I was looking at the 35mm and not the 50mm frame lines. Now this is soft, and part of that is from the low shutter speed. It does have motion blur. This I just completely missed. I think I accidentally took that photo. I didn't mean to, but here's another bad one. So I think maybe I just forgot to focus, because when you're looking through a rangefinder, you're not seeing the focus. These last few shots are kind of trash. But even though these shots are kind of trash, the film isn't. It's a good film with great contrast and latitude, and I do recommend getting your hands on it if you can find any that have been stored well. Now this last shot just missed focus. You can see it in the front with that kind of shaft of light there, but missed the focus on Jasmine, so oh well.
Hope you like the images, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the images in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe, turn those post notifications so you know when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh, this is FramesPerSecond. Just get out there, shoot some film.